Hi there, Cosmic Family. My name is Jahlial. Yesterday and today, April 4th, the moon has been going through Scorpio, reinforcing this square between Venus in Taurus and Pluto in Aquarius that is active since the beginning of the week because this accompanied the full moon in Libra that is still in manifestation. But especially these last 2 days, you could have felt them with greater intensity, emotional intensity, inner or external experiences that are pushing us to transformation or to the detachment of aspects that we need to purge, situations that are showing discomfort so we can observe the choices that we are making, perhaps from an unconscious place. This means that these choices could offer this illusory sensation of security or stability, but we are actually keeping ourselves in spaces or patterns that we know, but they are not offering any growth. They are making us feel stagnant, or even they could produce damage and suffering, in some cases, or generate them to other people that are surrounding us. And with Venus in Taurus could also be that certain desires, which is Venus, that we want to see materialized are not actually showing themselves as we are expecting. And also could be that the changes that we could generate to align with those desires are being shown right now, how to do them, how to approach them, but at the same time they could activate a part of us that is very attached to a perception or a way in which we want the reality to be manifested, and this could produce much resistances, the sensation of being powerless, which is also an aspect associated to the shadow of Pluto. And those perceptions that make us feel that we can do anything to change the reality. And of course there are times that we cannot force in a direct way a situation to change, but we could focus in other aspects that are connected to that experience. For example, if we frequently attract people to our lives that are not giving value to ourselves, that are not appreciating what we can offer, that could be the mirror that reminds us that we need to give value to ourselves too, that we need to give value to our energy, attention, time, presence, resources, and other qualities, and also knowing how to ask for what we need in an assertive way in relationships. I mean, reciprocity has not an exact measure. Many times we could give more, many times we could give less. But the thing is to have the honesty to make that registration and to seek to rebalance the situation along the relationship, and being with a person that is willing to do that too. And is, for example, the other person is the one that is taking more energy, and that is not making us feel good, taking the responsibility to put a boundary, even if the other person doesn't like it, or even if we are facing something that perhaps we could lose, or if we feel that what we are receiving, it is in a great imbalance regarding what we are giving. It is also a key to communicate instead of manipulating so the other person is acting the way we want. It is also true that there could be situations that even when there is an assertive communication, when there is an approach to the conflict, the other person, it is not willing to take responsibility, accountability, nor doing any change. And generally, a person that is positioned this way, it is not going to be receptive to listen the other one. It is going to justify their imbalanced behaviors by denying them or by seeking something to attack in a defensive way. So if this mechanism is frequent, this is a reflection of excessive centralization in the I and emotional immaturity. So we have to remember also that tomorrow the Sun in Aries is making this square with Jupiter in Cancer. It is perfecting that. So emotional immaturity could also be seen as not respecting the boundaries of other person, like trying to control, manipulating, or imposing how we want the others to feel or to act so we can feel loved and valued. So Pluto is a planet that is going to expose the extremes, and we could inhabit both of them in different circumstances. Whatever of these expressions is an invitation to transform the way that we are relating, bonding with ourselves and with people on the outside. and to stop forcing or waiting to be valued in spaces where there is no clear will of construction. This could apply to other situations, whether they are economic, in a job, because Venus in Taurus is very associated with that. And as I was saying at the beginning of the week, this aspect could activate these states, the survival state, that is coming from the fear of letting go of something that is not contributing to our lives, but it gives us this illusory stability again. And external experiences could being exercise a lot of pressure, so we are choosing from this true authenticity. Could be that the soul knows when a desire needs to be refined. There is a revelation of greater elevation of desire that could lead us to different opportunities. I'm going to put an example of this so you can understand. If there is a desire to stay in a place where clearly we are not feeling good, not well treated, it is because the desire, it is being conditioned by programmings. So refined it is to let them go. Or if the soul desires are identified, it is about letting go of what internally we know that is not accompanied that in affinity of form, in frequency, in vibration. And yes, of course, this could involve dealing with inner states and emotions that are not pleasant to feel, but they are part of the process. The other polarity is the fear of experiences not changing. That the sensation is accompanied with frustration, with the suffering, or the perception that anything is walking forth. In this case, the purification happens when we let go of the control, even if situations aren't happening as we are expecting, and we focus only what is among our possibilities. Whatever experience that we understand that right now is a priority to give attention to, and I am not referring with attention to stay in this circuit of worriness, turning around in the mental level, because that is other way of controlling and an aspect of shadow of Pluto in Aquarius. I am referring to attend what is necessary right now, whether are our emotions, projects, our physical body could be so, or relationships, because that is going to be the core that is impulsing other changes. What I am trying to say is that many times we want to change things, but in a superficial way. It is like wanting to free ourselves from a symptom in the physical body in a quick way, with allopathic medicine, but avoiding to go to the root of what could truly produce the healing, whether this is a decision or a repetitive pattern that we need to let die, so a new version of ourselves could be reborn, a more authentic version. Or it is like wanting the therapy, whether this is conventional or holistic, can improve any area of our lives, but without us making different decisions or observing behaviors that are not aligned with that to modify them. So these are ways of putting the power of our transformation on the outside with its consequences. And life always ends up showing us that avoiding going to the depths of ourselves is actually what keeps us in stagnation and in the resistances that probably we don't want to experiment. So thank you, everyone. See you in the next video. Ciao, ciao.